The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Yuma Fire Department, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 37790. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the front bumper face on the outer edge, you'll find dual air horns. Moving just inside that location, you'll find 2 electronic speakers and also part of your PA system. Moving up onto the bumper extension on the outer edges, you'll find 2 storage locations for hose. Located in the center, a D handle gains you access to an additional hose storage area. As we move all the way to the driver's side, top side is where you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving now to the face of the cab on the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. Just inside that location is your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam is located on the inside. Above that, emergency warning lights and grab handles. Moving to the A pillar is where you'll find your flat and convex mirror. As we move further up onto the brow of the apparatus, you'll find your identification clearance lights. There are 5. And located on the very top section of the roof is a forward-facing floodlight. Moving up onto the roof is where you'll find your light bar. Located inside the light bar in the center is your Opticom system. Let's move around now to the additional photos of the front bumper, starting with the bumper extension where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light, part of the lower zone. Now looking at the inside area where you'll find a swivel discharge located in the front. This is a foam-capable discharge. Let's move around now to the side where you'll find your air conditioning and also shoreline inlet. Full view of the apparatus. Let's start in with the cab section next. We'll start at the front axle with a visual sight gauge into the center axle, Alcoa wheel, and Michelin tires. As we move now to the front bumper extension, this is the side-facing emergency warning light. At the very top, this is the direct air conditioner plug-in for your 110 air conditioner. And then just below that, the red is your shoreline inlet. As we move to the door, you'll find easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are your latch. They are also a keyed lock. Right next to that is the grab handle for gaining entry and exit into the cab area or out of the cab. You'll also find a push button here, which is for your electric door locks. It is a code system for entering the cab section. Just to the rear of the driver's seat, D handle gains you access into this space, along with a lower zone emergency warning light just below the door handle, unit identifier 4 in the upper right corner. As we move now into the pump panel area, we'll come back to this space, but let's go to the body section where you'll find in front and rear of the axle, folding wheel chocks. Moving up, side marker turn indicator light, and then just above that, you'll find storage location for your air packs. Over the rear axle is where you'll find a side-facing lower zone emergency warning light. Moving now just above that to the top section where you'll find emergency warning lights side-facing, and then also 2 side-facing scene lights. As we move down to the rear axle, you'll find when your generator is operational, this plug will become active. Moving to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find your tow bar, and then on the outer edge, you'll find perimeter lighting at the rear. Let's move down to the side where you'll find a brake, turn, and reverse light. Just inside that location, you'll find a lower zone and also at the top an upper zone emergency warning light rear facing. Moving now, you have generator outlets on both passenger and driver's side rear. These are accessible when your generator is operational. Also a recessed traffic advisor, and then directly above that, you're going to find a 2.5-inch rear discharge. Just inside that location, a recessed camera. This is your backup camera. Moving now to the D handle, this gains you access for your ground ladders. And then there are two upper locations for additional long-handled tool storage. Moving up to the very top section, additional storage location, D-handle gains you access into this space for an additional ladder. Let's move now to the passenger side of the vehicle, full view, and then we'll take a look at the body section next. Same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side, along with your pump panel notch section here. And as we move forward to the cab, the difference here in this section is in the very front where you have a side-facing camera on the A-pillar along with your air intake. Let's move inside the driver's space affixed to the door panel. Safety and warning placard information affixed to the door panel. Also, lock and latch combination, electric window control, and electric lock control. In addition, a grab handle. Let's move in now to the driver's space, starting at the floor level next to the engine area is where you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, and also VIN number. All of your fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. At the floor level is where you'll find foot pedal for the air horn and also mechanical siren. As we move to about the left knee of where the operator would be, you'll find the master quarter-turn battery switch. It's the red switch at the top. As we move down, you'll find your regen inhibit, ABS diagnostics, engine transmission ABS diagnostic port, display port, and then also DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and also a tech module. This is for your service personnel. Just above that, you'll find the mirror heat and perimeter lighting. As we move to the steering column, your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system inside the bolster section located in the front column. As we move to the left of the dash, you'll find four-way flashers, ignition and start, also switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This engages all emergency lights and disengages. Headlight switch and panel switch allowing you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. To the right, you'll find the OK to engage your high idle switch and indicator. On the left, you'll find your transmission, oil, def level, and water temperature. On the right, you'll find volts, fuel, front and rear air. Speedometer and tachometer located directly in the center. Diagnostic information will display in the tally lights above and below the tachometer and speedometer, along with an information center directly in the center in the lower portion. Let's take a look just to the right. Let's start first with the command zone. This is your display module. Tremendous amount of information about your vehicle right here at your fingertips. This is a touchscreen and also function buttons. As we move further to the right, you'll find a digital pump readout for pump pressure, an engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, a siren brake for your mechanical siren, stationary OK to pump and roll, water pump foam system, and also push to talk for your radio system. Allison transmission pad digital readout with an informational note to pump in neutral. Also, as we'll find a radio push to talk and then also flat and convex mirror on the angled portion of the dash. Climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Also instructions here for your generator operating instructions placard. Window control for passenger, driver cab, and passenger rear cab. As we move to the center overhead of the driver position, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 4.5 inches, length 32 feet 2 inches, gross vehicle weight rating is 48,500 pounds, along with your 5-digit job number 37790-01. We do have additional rocker switches in the upper portion for your emergency lights, emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Moving just to the right of this location, we're going to find additional switch panels. Let's identify those. First, starting with the high beam flash, opticom, traffic advise left, traffic advise right, air horn, and electronic siren. Moving further to the right, an additional switch panel of rocker switches. Let's start first with the front scene, driver scene, passenger scene, rear scene, generator PTO, and load manager. When any of these switches have been activated, the green light should illuminate, indicating the switch is active and the function is active. As we move toward the center, you'll find Pierce seatbelt information. Red, someone is in the seat and not belted. Green, they're in the seat and belted. You'll also find your PA system and electronic siren located at the ceiling level, along with the Pierce seatbelt information and also a red flashing light indicating do not move your apparatus. If this light is flashing, you may have a compartment door open or ajar. As we move to the rear, you have 2 forward center seats and 2 outer seats with fold-down seat bottoms. This is a clean cab. As we move to the exterior, this is the push button for gaining entrance into your lock system. Moving now to the rear portion, access here from exterior. As we move to the front wheel, Goodyear tire and Alcoa wheel. I may have mentioned a Michelin, but my mistake, it is a Goodyear tire. As we move to the rear cab area, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and electric window control. Overhead, we have our unit air conditioner and then also 110 air conditioner when plugged into Shoreline Power. That air conditioner will assist with cooling the cab. D-handle gains you access into the left compartment. Fold down seats on the both passenger and driver's side rear forward facing. This compartment has additional interior access also via the D-handle. As we move to the rear, you'll find your EQ2B module located on the rear cab wall, along with a visual sight gauge. This access panel allows you to check for oil and transmission. As we move to the officer side rear, this is an additional compartment, only exterior access with ventilation cutouts. As we move overhead, let's take a look at the air conditioning unit. And then across the rear wall is all of our headsets for your intercom system. Let's move down to the exterior portion where you'll find your crosslays along with your backboard storage in the upper left location. Additional warning placard here regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move to the very bottom section, you'll find your color-coded and labeled crosslays along with a release for those speed lays. Let's move now to the pump panel on the driver's side. First, starting with a override. This is the number 1 discharge. It is a 2.5 inch along with an override because it's an electric valve. As we move to the top, you'll find a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the right, the Pierce logo American Flag Eagle large diameter pump inlet. You'll also find the foam strainer and foam function fill location, along with some warning placards here indicating foam failure, do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam, along with a warning regarding fall hazard. When climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. This is an additional 2.5 inch discharge. It is an electric valve, therefore there is an override. You'll also find the garden hose outlet activation, and just below that, the garden hose connection. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains are across the very bottom section. To the right side, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve female inlet. This is attached to your do not move your apparatus as a fold-out step for gaining access to the crosslays. If your truck is properly engaged in pump mode in the cab, that light will be illuminating at the top, indicating OK to pump. As we move to the left into the gray module, this is your engine information. It also has tally lights with check engine and stop engine indicators along with gauges. To the right, you'll find your gray module, which is your master intake and master discharge. In between the two of those are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. As we move to the right, we have an audible alarm. This is a speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate to increase or decrease sound. The blue module is your water tank level indicator. The green is your foam tank level indicator. And at the very top, we have a visual indicator. This is your PCM fault indicator. Let's move down on the pump panel, identify a few more items with our identified discharges, along with color-coded red labels indicating that they're foam capable. Fire pump primer push to prime air, best practices at least 1,000 for best practices. As we move further to the right, we have the number 4 passenger side discharge along with an electric valve. This is for your rear inlet. and then all the way to the very far right, pressure throttle governor and also water tank level indicator embedded in the pressure throttle governor. This is your recirculating line. It is a twist, not a pull. As we move further to the right, you'll find the red Husky 12 foam system module. There are instructions for its operation just below that. To the right, large diameter discharge here for your master stream device, and then further to the right, you'll find a driver rear discharge. There are 3 electric valves located on the right and also one directly in the center area, and also your tank fill and tank to pump. Let's move further down on the pump panel. Starting in the lower section, this is your Husky 12 foam system specification placard. Moving further down, your minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll go over that in just a few moments. Also a warning placard indicating, warning, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. And the very bottom section, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move to the vertical surfaces, this is the forward section. You'll find your monitor operation station along with some switch panels here and a red air horn switch button. Down on the lower portion of the pump panel, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi, the associated test pressure on the left and the associated RPM on the right. While in pump mode, you have a governed speed of 2050 RPM. Let's move to the upper right-hand corner where you'll find your charge location cable for your headset. Moving down just below this position at the very bottom, you'll find a pan door which gains you access for the foam fill or operation position, and then also an override switch down in the lower portion. This is your manual pump shift override. Let's move down to the vertical wall where you'll find the remote for controlling your master stream device. As we move now to the next compartment, you'll find 3 drawers that do lock into position. In the upper portion of this same compartment is where you'll find a shoreline outlet. As we move to the middle section or over wheel compartment, a tool board, just in front of the rear axle, you'll find SCBA storage location with a retaining strap, Goodyear tire, Alcoa rim. To the rear of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location for your pack, and then also ultra low sulfur fill, which is the green cap. Tool board, when it is opened, it will lock into position. The release is located on the hinge side. Just underneath the fuel door is where you'll find a generator outlet. As we move to the rear compartment, adjustable shelf and pull-out tray in the lower section, the release mechanism for this tray is located on the lower under section of the tray area on the right side. All compartment doors open now on the driver's side. Let's go around to the rear of the apparatus, identify a few items within this area. First, let's start in the upper compartment in the stepwell area, where we have a D-handle gains us access to an additional ladder. In the lower portion, 10-foot folding ladder, pike pole 8-foot and 10-foot. Moving further down on the rear wall is where you'll also find your 120 VAC 20 amp. This is a generated power outlet. Movable hosebed dividers. As we move toward the center, you'll find a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. That's because the line's coming from the rear, possibility of entanglement. Also, some additional warning placards in the upper left. This is a warning placard regarding never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Also, warning, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, warning placard here indicating always climb on and off the vehicle when facing the vehicle. Moving now to the upper passenger side long-handled tool storage, you'll find a 6-foot rubbish hook and a 12-foot pike pole. Also 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof. Moving now to the rear wall, 2 cup switches, one for your rear scene and one for your hosebed lights. Rear inlet. and then also an additional outlet located on the rear. This is connected to your generated power. Let's move around to the passenger side where you'll find an adjustable shelf. As we look just to the forward section rear wall, you'll also find shoreline outlet. Moving now to the overwheel compartment, SCBA bottle storage for 3 SCBA bottles to the forward location, pack storage. At the rear of the axle, you'll have your rear inlet air bleed, highlighting here the SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles. Once again, Alcoa wheel and Goodyear tires. Moving forward to this location of the axle, you'll find your air pack storage location with retaining strap. Moving to the next compartment forward, you'll find 2 box lights on the vertical wall that do have charging stations. Moving to the side vertical wall, when plugged into shoreline power, this is your air compressor, will maintain air brake pressure. We also have an electric cord reel with a junction box connected to your generator. And then just below that, this is the breaker panel for each of those outlets, in addition with the electrical cord reel. Just above that is where you'll find your generator module. On this side, you'll find the rear inlet and manifold drain. Moving now to the forward section, same configuration and layout as we have on the passenger side as we do on the driver's side. Just a reminder, warning placard here indicating entanglement hazard. As we move to the notch area, let's identify a few items within this area. We'll start in the upper left-hand side. This is a 2.5-inch discharge. This is controlled via an electric valve on the pump panel. Also, American flag Eagle Pierce logo, large diameter pump inlet. Moving to the right, this is the water strainer. Let's move just to the right of this location where you'll find the 2.5-inch discharge. This is also an electric valve requiring an override. Warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Then as we move down just to the left of this location, you'll find your cab lift. There are instructions for its operation. Also, just a quick reminder, make sure things are secured within inside the cab area prior to operation. And also a warning here, when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. This is an override for your large diameter discharge because this is an electric valve. Water strainer drain, and then all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. The step is connected to the do not move your apparatus if it is deployed. As we move into the rear cab area on the passenger side, let's start first with the door panel. A fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, grab handle, door lock and latch, and window control. Overhead in the center is your air conditioner. On the outer edges are the push on and off white or red lens lights. Fold down seats located on both passenger and driver's side. An additional compartment here with ventilation slats are located in the forward section, exterior access only. Also, this is the air inlet for your engine. Back to the front axle, we'll find a visual sight gauge indicator, Goodyear tire, and Alcoa wheel. We're now into the officer space. Let's identify a few items in this area. Let's start first with the door panel. A fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, electric window control and electric door locks, and a grab handle. As we move overhead, you'll find your intercom system, air conditioning vents, and also push on and off white or red lens lights. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system. This is the location of that airbag. On the right-hand side, this is the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Moving left of the dash, you'll find the vehicle data recording port, some push buttons here for the siren brake, opticom, air horn, and a push-to-talk for your radio system. This is the rear section behind the officer seat. As we move overhead of the officer, you'll find a visual speedometer digital readout that's directly over the officer's space. Moving just to the left of this location, we do have some additional switch panels for front scene, driver scene, passenger scene, and rear scene. Also the location for your volume and squelch for your Sigtronic intercom system. Let's move now to the outside roof area of the cab area. This is a non-walking surface. We have this identified with these placards on both left and right side of the cab area. As we move to the dunnage area, let's identify a few items within this area. First, let's start in the very center with your exhaust, and then just to the rear of that, you'll find your master stream device. You do have your Husky foam system reservoir located here with a visual sight gauge on this. Back to the exhaust with a warning placard indicating extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. As we move additional dunnage area, you'll find the top fill for your water tank and then also top fill for your foam tank. There is a warning placard on this indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Top fill for your water tank. As we move now to the hose bed, a fully enclosed hose bed cover. This has the capability to have a firefighter walking surface, and it is identified with yellow indicator diamonds indicating the walking surface edge. The vehicle is equipped with hatch compartments both on the passenger and driver side, dry deck material inside this space, and also LED lighting. In this compartment, you can see the electrical cord reel is stored in this area and drops downward into the compartment below. Let's go ahead and take a look at some chassis images next. If for any purposes you need to tow the vehicle, just underneath the front section attached to the passenger and driver side frame rail, this is the tow bar location. Also, just for reference, we are now on the driver's side. This is the steering box area. Moving now to the engine, I would like to point out on the frame rail on this side, there is a safety bar. When the cab has been fully deployed, maintain equal cab lift cylinder pressure on both left and right side cylinders. Place this bar into position for safety. Do not lower the cab onto this bar. Moving now to identify a few items within the engine area. This is the steering fluid reservoir. There's a sight gauge and fill dipstick. Also yellow indicating oil for your dipstick and red for your transmission dipstick. There'll be no additional audio from this point forward. Congratulations, City of Yuma Fire Department, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 37790. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.